Ever notice that the things you own start to own you? Ahoy and welcome back to another episode of The Captain's Log. Today I want to talk about stuff, not the metaphysical stuff, not emotional stuff, but actual physical stuff. You see, when I left Australia 2 years ago, I left a bunch of things at my mum's place in storage. And I am finding that my mind is often going back to this stuff. And the stuff that's in there, it's not super valuable stuff. It's stuff that's probably meaningless to anyone else. But it's just a few boxes of my things. Now, I'm slowly consolidating it, but I am noticing that I have this tab open. I have this thing running in the background of my mind of my stuff left in my storage. And all that's in there really, it's old memories. It's old memories, it's things from the past, old versions of me. And I actually just recently sent a close friend of mine out there to take a look at some of these things and to help me consolidate some of the stuff. And as they were opening all these boxes and photographing and sharing with me what was inside, at the time when I packed up this stuff, I was like, wow, I'm going to keep all these things because they were valuable to me, and some of that stuff still is. But really, it's like this old identity, old versions, and every time one of these boxes gets opened, it's a kind of a little bit painful in a way, because it's like I've had this whole death of this past identity of myself, and still within these boxes it still lives, it's still there. I've just had this big realization that actually stuff really weighs us down. The more stuff we have, the more stress we have. And in fact, a lot of these new rich entrepreneurs you hear about, they often are not going for these lavish lifestyles where they own a lot of stuff. They're going for simple, because that's exactly what happens when you own stuff, properties, expensive cars. You have these obligations and these things to maintain these things that you own. And it's a constant tab that's running in your mind that takes your cognitive focus or takes your mental focus away, when you could be putting that energy towards more meaningful and productive things. Now, there was a UCLA study that took place where it showed that homes full of clutter created higher levels of cortisol, which is a stress hormone, especially in women. Physical clutter, and I know my stuff that's in my mum's storage is not necessarily physical clutter around me, but it is a mess. It is an open tab that's happening somewhere. Physical clutter creates a constant low level of stress. I know for myself that if I'm ever feeling stressed or a bit discombobulated, the best thing I can really do is clean my room, clean my physical space, and it really helps me to reset. It helps me reset my mind. I feel a lot better when I'm in a clean environment. It helps me to think better. Every object is a visual noise in your brain, and digital clutter also counts too. That's tabs, it's files, it's emails, it's photos, it's screenshots, it's all this stuff that's kind of out there that, and until it's consolidated and stored and packed away neatly, it's still running in your brain. It's something that you're having to wrangle with some of your mind space. One of the biggest things that I was thinking about from my space in my storage was actually the hard drives that I had in one of the boxes in my storage. What's in there? It's just photos. It's photos I've kept for the last 10 years or so. Me building my business, client photography, portfolio stuff, friends, my dog, my little dog, photos of my dog. So, the stress of actually not having those photos stored somewhere on a cloud and consolidated is a mental tab that's running in my brain. That was one of the things that I got my friend to go and collect for me, was the hard drives, which I'm going to consolidate and put on the cloud. And I've just started wiping everything from my phone, gathering all the stuff from old laptops that I've left in my storage. I'm going to now pack that all away and store it away. And I'm noticing I'm feeling a much more sense of calm knowing that process is underway. I like to travel light. I've brought a very small bag with me here to Lisbon. I've got mostly the heaviest stuff that I carry is actually my computer and camera gear. And I love traveling light. I make my wardrobe modular. Everything kind of goes with everything. Everything's either white, black, or grey. Everything kind of goes together because I want to keep my suitcase very light. And I love doing that. I feel free when I have less stuff. I feel a lot freer when I have fewer things to manage, to move, to maintain, and remember. Every item you own costs you attention. The other element of stress that I had with stuff at my mum's place is that it's not in my control. at any moment, something could happen to my things. So I did think about getting storage and paying for storage, but then to see this bill coming in every month for storage for stuff that I'm just parking somewhere, that is not resolving the issue of the cognitive stress that's going on with the stuff at my mum's place. So I am actually slowly going to chip away. I've got a bunch of stuff I'm selling. I've got to just get all of that stuff gone, close out that identity. Another thing I've noticed is that your environment mirrors your inner world. I know when I am stressed and I have a million things going on and I'm feeling discombobulated, my room is going to look exactly like my mind space is looking and how I'm feeling. It's a direct reflection. Freedom and clarity come from subtraction, not from addition. So this has been the process that I've been on the last couple of years, has been peeling away. I can feel it in my body. I mean, like I've mentioned a few times on this podcast, I've lost, about 15 kilos. So the weight has physically left me, and I'm slowly cutting down all the things, the physical items around me, old accounts, old subscriptions, digital stuff, cleaning up files, sorting out my systems. This is all a process of freeing up my mind and having more space for clarity. Often we want to learn more stuff and take on add more skills, but maybe that's actually not the answer to getting more clarity on something. Maybe it's to simplify, get rid of stuff, get less stuff. I know friends of mine that probably would love to be living how I'm living, would love to be moving overseas and being more mobile, but because they're bogged down with houses, furniture, cars, all this physical stuff, they can't. They're actually trapped. It physically traps you and holds you into one place. And I'm learning that. I definitely want to continue to be free and live like this. I think even if I do settle down somewhere, my home will be very minimal. And I'm really enjoying traveling around with this mobile modular kit. I'm very conscious of the things that I buy and I add to my bag because I'm physically carrying everything that I accumulate. Physically, everything that I accumulate is adding weight to my bag, to what I have to carry on a daily basis. So I am very, very conscious. It makes you think about that very consciously. The practice of what I'm doing is I'm selling, giving away, and deleting and consolidating anything that I don't need or I'm not using. Even stuff that's like really hard to let go. Like I've got furniture, like I bought this really nice wooden like teak mid-century table. It's beautiful. Selling it. There's all these little things that I have like that, which I really love, possessions I love that I, with my taste I've acquired. Some of them are harder to let go than others, but I am selling, giving away, deleting, consolidating. I'm digitizing and simplifying what matters. I'm getting everything, all my diaries I'm going to scan and I'm going to get them into my second brain. And I'm reducing all my possessions, and through that process of reducing, I'm increasing my peace of mind. And I'm building systems right now with my second brain to store memories and not clutter. I'm building a system now where I'm taking all my photos off my phone each month, storing it away month by month, getting rid of any duplicates, pulling out any potential B-roll footage, putting that in a nice Premiere timeline. So I'm building a system of curating and collecting. And through this, it's been a few steps back because it's slowed me down, but I think in the long run it's going to speed me up, and it's definitely making me feel a lot more at ease and calm. On that note, here are the reflective questions for this week. What's one piece of stuff still weighing on your mind? Why are you holding on to it? And what would it feel like to finally let it go? Maybe you could even do an exercise where you listed everything out, all the stuff that you've got scrambled away and in all these different places, and start consolidating in your mind. Maybe you could even make a little bit of extra cash through selling and getting rid of some of this stuff, buying some hard drives, buying some cloud storage, with that money, and getting all of your things digitized and stored away somewhere where you've got access to them and it's not physically taking up space. And if that resonated with you, do join us on the leadership community, where we design systems processes, build habits and mindsets that help you lighten your load and lead with more clarity. And until next week, hold fast.